Today's automotive adventure involves the Ford Explorer Sport Trac, which I consider the best vehicle known to man. I started out my Sport Trac ownership with the first generation, which ran 2001 to 2005, and I had a 2001 model for 7 years until a lady ran a stop sign and T-boned me and put it right on its roof. Then I advanced to the second generation, which ran from 2007 to 2010. When I got it, it did have a exhaust manifold leak on the right side, which I fixed. I had a broken stud. And after quieting that one down, I realized I had an exhaust manifold leak on the left side. And I've been living with it for a couple years, but it's time to fix it. So let me show you what it sounds like. So imagine hearing that every day in the peaceful little town of Huntington Woods. I don't think there's another car around that sounds like that. I mean, around here, people drive Subarus, Cadillacs, Subarus, Teslas, Subarus, Jeeps, and then Subarus. Almost forgot that one. So that's what they drive around here. Nobody has a Sport Trac, let alone one that sounds like that. I want to own the whole hillbilly motif, but I really don't want to irritate my neighbors like that. So it's something that I want to fix. So let me ask you, we're going to fix the engine. What's the first thing that we do? Pop the hood, you say? No, fix the engine. The first thing we do is take off that front tire. So let's get at it. We're getting there. It doesn't get any better than that. Now, one of the coolest tools I ever bought is the Steelman chassis ear. So the chassis ear, when you're trying to diagnose noises and stuff, we're going to use the engine ear. It's called the engine ear, and we can put in the headphones and get sound through here and try to pinpoint where the sound is coming from. So I hear it more on the top rear. Okay, I can hear it pretty good up there. I'll get a flashlight and show you what I'm seeing. That hole right there, that hole right there. It's so bright. There's a hole right there. It's supposed to be a bolt head. There's supposed to be a stud coming through with a nut on the end of it. It's completely gone. So I'm sure that's the issue. It's just it's not clamping. It's not clamping the exhaust manifold down. So I don't think I need to take this manifold completely off. I think I can, but the trick is getting that stud out of there and then putting a new one in. That's going to be the trick. How do you get that stud out and put a new one in? So I'm here at the hardware store. Here's this thing I told you about. Screw it on in there. It's not that one. Okay, M8. Gotta remember that. So here are these screw extractors. They come with their own drill bit, which is great. I looked up online and it said to use this. It said to use this one, the number 3, for the size of bolt that I have. So I'm gonna double check with the guy at the counter, but that's the one I think I'm gonna. The best part about going to Durst Ace Hardware, the free popcorn. Get me some of that. So when I looked online, it talked about for the 8mm to use the number 3. And when I talked to the hardware guy, he went into his computer and he looked it up, and he actually recommended the number 2. He said the 2 will do the job. He said the good thing is if it doesn't and you need to upsize to the 3, you can move, you can always go bigger. But if I start drilling a bigger hole and it doesn't work, I can't go smaller. So I thought that was really good advice. So then I picked up that and the punch. The other thing I thought of though is I should probably feel around and make sure there aren't any other studs broken. Complete my diagnosis. So now I have that one stud that was broken. I should make sure I can put my hand on every other stud and make sure they're actually in there. It's kind of tough with a heat shield. I'm gonna have to take that heat shield off. Ooh. On the back, the bottom one is gone too. The front, on the bottom, on the back, it's the top and bottom that are gone.
That's a cool Jeep, man.
Thank you.
It's pretty stripped down.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
What year is that?
It's a 54.
Oh, that's so cool.
Thanks, yeah, it's a military ambulance.
Is that what it was? It's got a little longer wheelbase, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's called the M170. If you're familiar with CJ5s and 7s,
Yeah,
it's called the CJ6.
CJ6, okay.
It's like 20 inches longer than a CJ5.
My grandpa drove, not that, but the World War II original Jeeps.
Yeah.
He was in the European theaters, so.
Yeah, like they call them flat fenders.
Flat fenders, yeah. I mean, those ones, like, it's crazy because I feel like the one he drove was like half the size of that.
It's more like you're sitting on it. You're not really sitting in it. You're just kind of sitting on it.
It's almost like you're riding a horse up there.
Yeah.
And then, I think with the amount of beef that Americans are made of now, it's probably good we have the Humvee.
Right. Yeah.
Have a good one.
You too. See, that's what I love about working on the driveway, I don't know that guy. Get to meet the neighbors. It's awesome. Hear stories. Grandpa in the war, in the Jeep. If I didn't have that Jeep, I couldn't have had that conversation. Went back to the hardware store and got this drill bit. It looks like it's 15 inches long. It's super long. Okay, we want to get it right down the middle. Right there. I don't know how deep you have to go. Ugh, it's not really in the middle, but it's not too bad there. Okay, you're gonna get the thing called one brand is easy out. This here brand is called Irwin. Now I'm getting excited. See, it's threaded, but it's reverse threads. So you turn it lefty-loosey, but as you turn lefty-loosey, it digs in, and then it's supposed to kind of dig in and grip the, and then start to rotate the broken bolt lefty-loosey. The extractor's getting good and tight, which means it's biting. It's biting. That's good. See, this was afraid I don't have room to move. Okay, I'm back. What I thought about was, how can I get a better grip on this guy here? What I thought about was an O2 sensor socket with a groove. See if I can put that on there. I can put that on there. And I can turn it with the ratchet with all the force I want to break it. I'm gonna start breaking stuff. I'm like, so it's too long of an attachment. See, look at that. I do get to use the socket like I wanted. See if I start turning that. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, did I turn it? Oh. Ooh, what happened? What happened? I broke the thread extractor. Do you know how hard it is to drill out a thread extractor? Just lovely. Seriously serious about that? Are you seriously serious? Are you? This right here is the story of my life. The good thing is, the truck is no worse off. I mean, the manifold's not leaking any worse. I broke it off. Now, do they have an extractor? Is there like an extractor for extractors? A bolt extractor? That's what I need to now. It's the extractor. So this is the exhaust manifold, this guy here, right? And here's where the stud is supposed to be pointing out at you. Well, the focus is all there. And in the upper corner, like at the 12 or 1 o'clock position, you can see my broken extractor. I know the what do you call it? The focus is getting weird. That's my broken extractor up in that corner. I'm going to take a little break and rethink my life choices and consider what other options we have. So I'll see you in a bit. Well, it's day 2 here on the Sport Trac exhaust manifold broken studs, and I'm back at it. Got a couple things I'm going to show you here, but first, just thinking about yesterday, I should have known better than to try to put this much leverage on this little extractor. But when I first started turning it, I felt movement. I started getting really excited. What I felt was just the tool itself twisting off. So that was kind of dumb, but there's something else I'm thinking of that I want to show you here. So I zoomed right on in here on where this broken stud was at. Felt like the exhaust manifold, this hole here, isn't lined up with the stud anymore. And there's like the crescent on this lower left corner, kind of at the 7 o'clock position. I see like a crescent moon of which is the cylinder head, and it seems like the stud itself is offset more so. So I think with this manifold here, even if I was able to get movement on that stud, I think the manifold, the exhaust manifold, is actually blocking the stud from coming out, and that could be why the thread extractor broke. So I'm sort of resolved that I have to remove this manifold to get that out. And the other broken one is way under here. It's like it's way underneath. You can't see it anyway. I can barely see it. So I think I'm going to have a lot better luck with the manifold out anyway. Now, the reason I didn't want to take the manifold out was, well, it's a lot more work, but also there's 6 studs and nuts that I have to take out. There's risk of them breaking. So you can see I try to look right through there in the lower left corner. You can see that stud with a nut. I have 6 of those to remove. Plus down here where the exhaust manifold connects to the exhaust pipe. So I have those to remove. And of course, there's always risk of them breaking, but I think if I wire brush them pretty good and WD-40 them and I'm careful with them, I think I can get the nuts off and then get that manifold out, and then I'll have better access. And if I am overlapping that that stud up there like I'm talking about, I'll have a lot better chance of getting it out. So I'm gonna dive deep and tackle that now. So I've managed to break loose all 6 of the nuts here on the manifold, and I'm about to get the first. I broke them loose. What you don't know is I won't know here until it comes out. Is it the nut coming off, or is the whole stud coming out? And it doesn't really matter either way. It is the nut. The nut. So the nut came off, the stud remained. That's great. So that's the first of 6. Got 5 more to do. I'm going to get back at it. Okay, I was off camera about an hour, and I got everything loose. There's 3 nuts. 3 of them, the whole stud came out. I have the 2 for the downpipe there. I'm going to try to get the manifold off. Right now it's loose, it's just kind of flopping there. So the couple really cool things. One is my little microphone kept sticking to this caliper because it's a magnet. That was really cool. The other thing, the great thing about a sloped driveway is I get to chase sockets down the driveway. I think I did that 4 times. They roll down the driveway. Those are the cool things. The other really cool thing is I can't see hardly any of the nuts I'm taking off. It's all blind. And I get to hug this strut tower. That's really cool too. So, but I'm going to try to take the manifold off. Now, I'm going to do that off camera because I'm new to YouTube, but here's one thing I learned. If I leave the camera running, it'll take me 45 minutes and we'll all be bored. But if I turn it off, I'll probably get it out in 3 minutes and then I'll wish I had filmed it. But in any event, I'm going to turn it off and wrestle this manifold. Okay, here I am. Got the exhaust manifold out. It did take me just under 45 minutes. Part of the reason was I had to go crawl to the other side and unbolt the exhaust crossover pipe from the other manifold too. I had to be able to drop the exhaust a couple inches in order to get it from around this donut or whatever you call it. So it is an original manifold. It says FOMOCO and it's got a part number there. So it has not been replaced. The other one has been replaced with a Chinese manifold I found out last time. Now that I have the manifold off, I have direct access to both that top and bottom broken stud. I'm going to start with the bottom one. The top one's where I have my broken extractor stuck in there. So the bottom one, it's perfect. It's like a blank canvas ready to be painted on. So in theory, I use my punch, which I tape to another punch for being able to hit it with a hammer. In theory, I'm going to hit it right in the middle, right in the center, and then drill a hole right in the center. Like it, in theory, sounds so easy. What I decided to do here was that whole punch thing wasn't working. So I got on my Dremel with my little flexible gizzy here and I put on a little, I don't know what you call it, put a little, grind a little indentation, then I put a drill bit in there. And what this gave me was really good flexibility and precision because the drill won't fit in there and the hammer and the punch and all that. So it gave me a really good precision. Because I'll say that getting this hole drilled perfectly is the secret to the whole repair. You know, it's like painting a house, painting a car. Prep is 90% of the work. And if this gets off center, I mean, the whole thing's shot. I'm a little worried about the other one that's broken. It's so far off center, but this gave me really good precision. And I'll see if I can show you the little indentation I started in there. You can see I was able to start a hole right in the center of that stud with my Dremel drill. Now, Dremels are, they're not good for high torque applications. There's a lot of speed there, but not torque. So if I was to drill it, I could drill that entire hole with the Dremel, but it's going to be slow going, but the precision might be worth it. I mean, the drill is going to have more torque, but can't get it in there. So I think this is what I'm working with. Returned from my 5th trip to the hardware store. The Dremel I was using was not pointy enough, wasn't sharp enough. I was getting a little off center, and I really need to get centered there. So bought another grinding wheel for that with a good sharp tip, and I bought the next size up thread extractor, the number 3. Remember, I started with a little one, and it broke so easy. Once I do get this hole drilled, I'm going with the next size thread extractor. So time for some surgery. All right, you see that right there? upper left corner. So this is the top one where I had previously broken off a thread extractor in there. But through a combination of Dremels, drill bits, grinding wheels, a whole bunch of such knots, a good deal of whatnots, I've been able to drill a hole right down the center. Okay, I've managed to drill my nice centered hole. I drilled that pilot hole, then I drilled it with the 5/32 that came with the kit. Actually, yeah, that's what I did. So now I'm about to use the extractor to see if I can get it out. So I have it connected to my 1/4" drive ratchet. I'm not going to put a ton of torque on it. I'm going to pay attention, does it start to move? I do not want to break off this extractor like the last one, then I'll never get this thing out. I see something turning, but it could be shards of metal that the extractor is actually producing. I don't think. Yeah, I don't have my glasses on to see. Well, I'm on the brink of failure with this top hole. And so the extractor was not biting, so I wanted to dig the hole a little bigger, and I broke off a drill bit in the hole, and now the extractor half won't grip. I used my old extractor, which I had cut the end off, so that way it doesn't have much sharpness protruding in, and it doesn't grip. One of my fears is that the first extractor, the little one that I broke, it may be acting like a keyway. It may be a portion cutting into the threads of the cylinder head. You can see it in about the number 5 position in that whole little bright spot. That's that broken extractor. It may be locking the stud to the cylinder head, in which case I don't know that I'll be able to get it out. Well, I'm back for day 4 of trying to remove broken studs from this exhaust manifold. Now I say day 4, but 4 days have passed since I last worked on it. I do have a full-time job, can't get out here every night to work on vehicles. So now the weekend's here, I'm going to spend some more time on it. The cool thing about time passing is it gives me a sense of great hope, like, hey, I can do anything. You know, I'm going to get right back out there and get right back into it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I kind of have to remind myself where I left off. I'm going to take this top stud. This is the one where I broke off a bolt extractor in it. And I think I'm going to use the Dremel grinding stone just to open up that hole that I have, grind into that extractor. And if I get some into the aluminum, that's okay. It's pretty thick right there. I don't mind taking a couple threads off even, but I want to try to get that extractor out. I think it's acting like a keyway, and then I can get the rest of the bolt out. Okay, you are not going to believe this. I broke off part of my Dremel stone in there. So inside this hole, where there's supposed to be a stud, I managed to break off a bolt extractor, a drill bit, and a Dremel stone. They're all stuck in there. What's supposed to be in there is a stud, and I've managed to break off these 3 things. I'm sure you've lost all faith in my mechanical ability, so which is fine. We're going to get there. In the end, it's coming out, I'm telling you. I've been working here for a couple hours at what is very, very slow progress, but I have made some progress. You got to take the little wins. So let me show you what I did. So on this top hole, I did manage to dig out of there the broken drill bit that was in there. That's progress, which allows me to drill deeper. None of my extractors will grip in there. So, and the hole is actually pretty well centered. I'm thinking about just drilling it plain on out and then tapping the threads and cleaning the threads up. So drilling it out, I'll get to a point, because it's not perfectly centered, I'll get to a point where I'm getting into the aluminum threads a little bit, and then what'll just be sort of left is a steel shell on half of the, like one side, kind of like a crescent moon. I'll be able to dig it out of there. It's a serious pain. Hello. It's day 5 of this automotive adventure, and it's a Saturday, and I already cut the grass. Family's out of town, so I feel like I have endless time. Nothing but hope to get this job done. You know, that's how you start the day. I went to the hardware store and got this 1/4-inch drill bit. I'm going to, as I mentioned yesterday, just drill the hole right out and then clean the threads, and there we go. That's what I'm hoping to do on that top hole. All right, I figure I owe you an update. I've been spent a couple hours, another trip to the hardware to get Dremels. I just kind of concluded I'd have to just remove the remains of this stud. What you're looking at in the very center is really the bottom of the hole. I mean, the stud is almost completely gone. Kind of in the 10 o'clock position is where it is separated from the cylinder head, which is cool. The very top is a sort of a secondary hole or channel. I think that's where the first extractor was. I thought it might be acting as a keyway, and I think it was. Now that it's ground away or fell out, you can see the thread. So what's left here is like a C-shape outer ring of this stud. And I'm just sort of chipping away, grinding away, drilling away, going slow so I don't get into that cylinder head. But I think in the end, I'm just gonna basically disintegrate it and then run a tap through to clean up the threads, and that's about where we're gonna be. I managed to get enough material out of the hole and run a tap through it to clean threads and establish threads. There's still some steel remnants of the old stud in there. This is a very bad repair, and that stud's a little wobbly because the hole has been, at least at the opening there, is bigger than it should be. So I'm going to put high temp. There's a high temp JB weld. I'm going to fill the hole with high temp JB weld and then screw the stud into it, and that will lock that in there between the the threads of the stud and the threads in the hole and the JB weld, and it'll be wonderful. It's high temp stuff. It's fine. Now what I don't know is, how do I want to tackle that bottom hole? Obviously extractors, I've had no success at all with extractors. Do I want to try to get on that bottom hole where I have even less accessibility? I'm gonna have to play around and figure that out. But one thing I'm telling you, never give up. You gotta find your creativity, break a lot of tools, abuse a lot of tools, and come back tomorrow. Never give up on these things. Well, I ordered the parts that we need to finish the job. I got exhaust manifold gaskets and a whole new set of studs. I am 1 stud short. I have that extra stud, but I'm 1 stud short. And it'd be nice to put in all new studs and all new nuts since they're rusty. Ordered that from Rock Auto. I like ordering from there because it's convenient, shows up right at the door. Then I ordered the JB Weld Extreme Heat from Amazon. So those things will be showing up in a few days. I'm posting this now as part 1, even though the job's not done, because it's going to be a few days before I can get back to it. I've got a lot of good footage that I want to share. And you just see, I did make a good headway in able to get that 1 stud in there. So I would consider that a success. I know those of you who are real mechanics, actually any real mechanics probably aren't watching this. They gave up a long time ago, but as they were leaving, they shouted, just weld a bolt on to the broken stud and back it out. That's what we would do. That would require a functional welder and welding skill. Two things I don't have. So, and a lot of people don't have that at their disposal in their garage, or in their driveway. So this is the type of repair you do on your driveway. It might have been an ambitious one for episode 1, but this is the reality of doing your own auto repair, automotive adventures. And I look forward to finishing it and sharing that with you in part 2.